You need keywords, your Poshmark SEO, and you need sharing. The keywords pull you into a search so that you can be shown to a potential buyer. And then you need the sharing to bring you at the top of that search so that you have more chances of being seen in the results from that buyer search. And then if it's okay to put that section in your listing that says tags and then has a whole bunch of words. I see that often on Poshmark, and I actually get asked about it a lot. So we're going to cover all of those things. Download your free reseller resource guide today. I constantly update and share with you discounts, favorites, tools, and resources to help you with your reselling business. After the video, click the link in the description and get your totally free guide today. Poshmark SEO can be a little bit confusing when you get going with it, but once you have it down, it's really not that hard, but it is crucial and essential to make sales on Poshmark. And so I kind of boil it down to this. I believe that if you want to make more sales on Poshmark, you need to focus on two things. There's lots of other variables, but the focus should be on sharing and keywords. And by keywords, I mean the SEO. So by sharing, that's going to get you to the top of searches, right? But the keywords is what pull you in to many of the buyers' searches. So I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to tell you exactly what is searchable, where you can put your keywords on Poshmark, how to kind of craft your title or description so that the keywords are in the right places and so that it all makes sense. But the main thing that you need to think about is that you need keywords, your Poshmark SEO, and you need sharing. The keywords pull you into a search so that you can be shown to a potential buyer. And then you need the sharing to bring you at the top of that search so that you have more chances of being seen in the results from that buyer search. Let's get into it a little bit. I did do a video all about my sharing formula and how I set up all of my sharing. So that would be a good video to watch so you can kind of get the other side of things. So check out that video. But this video is going to be all about the Poshmark SEO, keywords for your titles and descriptions. So what's searchable? These are the things we're going to cover. What is searchable on Poshmark? Where should you put your keywords on Poshmark? Poshmark titles and descriptions, style tags, and then if it's okay to put that section in your listing that says tags and then has a whole bunch of words. I see that often on Poshmark, and I actually get asked about it a lot. So we're going to cover all of those things. So first, what is searchable on Poshmark? Almost everything. So your title is searchable, your description is searchable, the style tags is searchable to my knowledge. I think it's more for filtering than it is for search, but I do believe that that pulls you into a search. And then your drop downs as well. So like when you put midi as the kind of dress, those drop downs all pull you in. If someone searched for a midi dress, you would get pulled in based on having those drop downs completed. So basically everything pulls you into search on Poshmark, which is wonderful because if you can't fit something somewhere, you're covered somewhere else. Or if you put it in the drop down, technically you don't have to write it again. I do just because I have the habit of it and I make sure that I cover all my bases, but you don't have to necessarily put the same things in your title as in your description. You can, it doesn't hurt anything as far as I know. But it's definitely like you have a plethora of options to include as many relevant keywords as you can so that you can go ahead and pull in all of your listings to all of the searches that it may qualify for. Now, where should you put your keywords on Poshmark? Everywhere. The main place that I put them first is in the title. So I put them in the title because that is the first spot. It's the first thing that they would see if they actually go into the listing. They see a partial amount of it in the search results. So I do put those things in the title. That's just kind of, the first go-to place. Now, anything that doesn't fit in the title, then I go ahead and include that in the description. And for me, I have a very simple listing template and I've done videos on that. I recently did a video about the perfect Poshmark listing, so you can check that out to see exactly how I set it up. But really, I just put the keywords in there separated by commas, as well as all of the other listing things that I like to include, like my condition description and stuff like that. So as far as the keywords and the SEO, things that are going to make your listing be found in searches, I use the title first, and then I add any extra ones into the description. Now, you can also add style tags, and I did a video about style tags as well. I do this as a nice to have. I think that some people may click on them to refine their search a little bit more. I think it's a good idea to like give you ideas for keywords. I don't use it on all of my listings. It's kind of like if I have time, but I do think that they're helpful. And so if you have time, go ahead and include them. It can't hurt anything. It can only add to your success. Now, I always complete all of the drop down fields. Recently, I did a Poshmark closet review for someone, and she only had women dresses. She didn't have the type of dress, that subcategory filled out. She had pants, women pants, but she didn't have the subcategory of pants filled out. That's a missed opportunity because one, someone may do their search and kind of filter down by those, and then you won't show up if you don't have that category or subcategory included, but also for the keyword search. So I think you should always completely fill out those drop downs. And since I mentioned it, if you're ever interested in a Poshmark closet review, go to my academy in the link down below and you can purchase a Poshmark closet review. I send you a custom video. Anyway, but if you struggle with keywords, because these are the building blocks, these are the things that pull you into the search. You can't have Poshmark SEO without the keywords. The keywords are what do it. And the keywords are things like midi dress, shift dress, polka dot as the, pattern, or sweetheart as the neckline. All of the keywords that describe elements of the dress or of the item, those are the things that you need to be including because those are things that people could be searching for. And then the secondary function of them is really for them to describe the item. You guys may have heard me say before, you should describe your item like there's no photos and take photos of your item like there's no description. And that really gets everything across to a potential buyer. But if you struggle with keywords, I do have a playlist all about keywords. I share many, many keywords from my keywords list that I have available as a digital download, which you can certainly get in the academy, but I have lots of free ones available in the videos that talk really in depth about keywords and give a lot of examples. So that's keywords. That's kind of where you should be putting them in everything, but the title, then I kind of add them into the description. You can add the style tags, and then you can obviously make use of those drop downs. Now, as far as the titles and descriptions go specifically, you should be stuffing the title and then potentially the description with as many relevant keywords as possible that make sense for your listing. You may have heard of keyword stuffing. Don't do that. Don't put things that don't apply because it doesn't really help you. It doesn't really do anything. If I'm looking for a sweetheart neckline fit and flare dress and you put it those keywords that don't apply to your dress, why would I want to see your dress come up in my search because you added those keywords? It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to buy that dress. So I think that focusing on keywords that are relevant, but as many as possible, and keywords that cover all of your bases. So you want to be putting in a few different ways to say the same thing. So it may be that it's the exact word of what it is, like the fashion terminology of a particular element of your item. And then you may think about it and be like, a lot of people don't know those exact words. So they might call it this instead. Or there might just be multiple ways to say the same thing. For me, I put like wide leg pants. Sometimes I put palazzo and gaucho as well. Or if it's, like leggings, workout stuff, I might put workout athletic. So those are two things that basically say the same thing, but you never know what your buyer is potentially searching for. And so you want to come up in both of those searches. The other one I've seen is like, Vendu is an essential hub for my reselling business. I've used Vendoo for years now to create drafts, list on multiple platforms, cross-post quickly, relist easier and faster than on Poshmark, manage my inventory, track analytics, and tons more. Vendoo more than pays for itself. In fact, I showed in the past how a $34 a month investment in Vendoo made me over $24,000 by cross-posting to Mercari alone. Most discount codes are only for 20%, but my Vendoo discount code gets you 30% off your first month. Use my link to sign up for your free trial, and then you get your 30% off with my code and link. The other one I've seen is like, it's a maxi dress, and some people search long dress. So long isn't the official name for maxi, but that's what someone may only know. And so that's what they put in. They're looking for a long dress. And so if you just had maxi and you didn't have long, you wouldn't come up in their search if you didn't have long. So these are all those things that you need to kind of think about to make the most of the work you're doing. If you are buying this item, photographing the item, listing the item, doing all these things, put all those keywords in there so you can give your item every chance to sell by coming up in as many searches as possible. Every search that you come up in is another chance to sell that item. And again, there are obviously lots of other variables that go into play with it, but this is just the SEO part. So then I fill up, once I fill up the title with everything that can fit, that makes sense. Then I go ahead and put additional things in the description, separated by commas, along with all of my other listing things. I do add the style tags if I have time. And, you can go into Poshmark and kind of click around. Like if you put leather pants, you might see what other things come up, and that could give you good ideas for keywords that you could include. You may not necessarily use the style tag to add it to your listing, but you can use style tags to kind of research possible keywords that would make sense for your listing. Now, as far as I know, it is okay on Poshmark to put this section tags with all the words. We've seen it. There's people that just stuff their listing in the description. It says tags and then it says 1,000,000 words. As far as I know, it's okay to do. I add them more like at the top of my listing. I don't really do a tags section, and I just do a tag, comma, keyword, comma, tag, comma, keyword. Like tag and keyword are basically the same thing. So I do it, but I don't do it exactly how we know that we've seen it on Poshmark, where people will just put tags and they'll put winter, summer, spring, fall, trendy, this, that. I don't really do that. I add certain keywords where it makes sense for them to be added, and I separate them by commas. Now, I don't really think it's a big deal if you do it, but I don't know that it leaves the best impression on the buyer, and I do think that if you're just copy and pasting the same words in there, that don't apply. Like it's easier to copy and paste the same blurb of words over and over again, and then you have more chance of it not applying to your listing, and I don't think that that is helpful. I think that's not right. But I do think that there are people that do something that's a no-no, which is they put, let's say, free people for exposure. And I know that people used to do this a long time ago. I don't really know if people are still doing it. I have a feeling they probably are, but they put a keyword in there that they think is similar or relevant, but like, by 6 degrees of separation to their item. And so they put it in there for exposure. And so if you're searching for a free people dress and I have a no-name dress, but it's kind of free people-y, they put free people for exposure in there as a keyword tag so that it will come up when somebody's searching free people. And I just think that buyers are not stupid. And if somebody is in the budget for a no-name dress, they're going to do searches like that. And so they're not really going to buy your no-name dress just because it happens to look a little free people-y. Like I think if somebody's looking for free people, they're going to buy free people. But that's just me. I don't know. So I don't think that putting tags for exposure is the right thing to do, but I don't necessarily think it's a big deal if you put that section of tags at the bottom of your listing and you list a bunch of words as long as they apply to your listing. So yeah, I think that there are lots of places to put your keywords, lots of opportunities to get your SEO going. And it is a missed opportunity with many, many resellers. Like I said, I've recently just done a bunch of Poshmark closet reviews for people. I talk about it on coaching calls with people as I do peek into their closets, and we talk about it during their coaching calls, as we're making strategies. And it's just, you have done all of this work already. Why wouldn't you take an extra minute or two and just add more keywords that make sense? And I think part of it in the beginning when you're new, it's an education thing. You don't know what you don't know. And so you need to educate yourself on how to be successful as a reseller. And don't forget to stop by the Rebecca the Reseller Academy, where you can find all of the products and all of the educational tools I have available for you, including all the free goodies. Here you can find coaching calls, Poshmark closet reviews, digital downloads, including my free reseller resource guide, as well as all of my courses and all of the bundles to save you lots of money. Hope you'll stop by soon at the Rebecca the Reseller Academy. One of the best ways to do that is to add as many keywords as possible, because it's just a numbers game. If you put all the right keywords in to a listing, it can come up in 10, 20, 30, 50 searches per day or more. Every time it goes up in a search, and then every time it's shared recently, it's at the top of the search. You have more and more and more opportunities for that item to be clicked on, looked at, considered by a buyer. And that's how things get purchased. So they don't just get purchased by accident. Like, you have to do all these things so that the sale process can happen. So hopefully from this video, you've kind of gotten some of your questions about Poshmark SEO answered, and you're able to kind of have a better understanding of where you should be putting your keywords, that you should be putting your keywords, and that if your keyword level is not up to par and you think you can do better, then please go ahead, check out my keywords list, check out my keywords videos, check out the perfect Poshmark listing video that I mentioned, so that all of these things you can learn more and more about. The last thing I'll mention is you can add a keyword today. It could take you 30 seconds, and automatically that can help your listing sell. So if you ever have slow sales, use that opportunity as a time to go through and revise listings and add more keywords. Maybe you learned a new keyword and you hadn't had a chance to put it on the listing yet. Go back and add. Like, I remember when I learned about buttery leather as a keyword, were really, really soft leather. I had things that were leather. So I went in and found all my leather items and added buttery leather to them as a keyword. And so these are ways that you can educate yourself and then have it make a real world impact in your sales by adding them, revising your listings, and you never know. You add that one keyword today. I've had people comment on videos where I've mentioned it. They add one keyword and the next day it sells. Doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen. And so I think that it's a really easy opportunity that you can learn and grow, educate yourself as a reseller, and then also make an impact to increase your Poshmark sales. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.